Hello, Tiger football fans. Thanks for joining us this week on the Campbellsville University Sports Network, the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you as we visit with the head coach of Fighting Tiger football, Perry Thomas. Coach, in your 10th year, you've had quite a vacation this football season.
Yeah.
I say vacation a little tongue-in-cheek. I know you guys have been hard at work, but it's been a few weeks, 27 days between games, and finally we get to say game week.
Yeah, I mean, it's so amazing. The guys were coming out to practice this week was just constantly talking about it's game week, coach. It's game week, coach. Even on Twitter, you'll see them game week, game week. And it's been a long time. And we prepared, and it seemed like for 2 weeks we prepared for 3 teams with Warner and then Ave Maria, and then we thought we was going to play Bluefield. And then all that got canceled, of course. And it's been a long time. Practice has been long. It's been fun because the guys have had a great attitude about it. They've come to work and prepared to get better every day. But it's been a long time since we played, and they're excited to get on the field, and I'm excited to get them out there and see what we can get done.
And Coach mentioned it's been a while, 27 days is the layoff, and we'll be joined a little later in the show by Coach Garris, Coach Rick Garris, and also we'll preview this Bethel game. But Coach, walk me through now the last week or two for you guys, and some of the things maybe you've been able to do a little differently. And one that I wanted to hit on with you was recruiting. Has this changed your ability to be maybe a little more aggressive and a little more active in the recruiting trail because you haven't been traveling on Fridays? You haven't had games to actually prepare for and do. Has that changed that for you a little bit?
Yes, we've been able to get out on the road quite a bit more and visit schools and also visit games. And to hit the recruiting harder. Some of those guys out of state that we get on, but you can't really be too aggressive with early. We've been able to be a little more assertive with those guys because we've had some more time to make those calls and make those contacts and to reach out and get those people that we need to get involved. The tough part about it recruiting-wise is many of those guys want to see games, and right now, there's no games for them to visit, and also. They're not getting excited about the games because they're not seeing it online every week, those reports of scores and watching us streamed or whatever. So that's been a tough part for recruiting. But as far as us getting out and getting involved a little bit more, yes, it's been good for that. Other than that, we've been doing a lot of practicing, a lot of prepping on ourselves, film work, trying to get better every day with our fundamentals because you can't match that game tempo, nor can you match that game experience with your fundamentals, but it's given us a chance to really, show up on our fundamentals a little bit, and hopefully that'll show when we play. We know we'll be a little rusty, but hopefully that'll show.
Well, how far down did you break this thing, or if at all? I mean, do you go back to almost a camp-type mentality, or are you somewhere in between, especially once you find out that the Ave Maria and the Bluefield potential makeup there, that's not going to happen. So, how far back do you take it to not only take it easy on the guys, but also to make sure that you're progressing? Where do you fall in there?
Well, it was more of a camp mentality. It really was, and we wasn't as physical as we would be in camp, and practice were a little shorter and so forth, but you don't want to burn them out with no carrot at the end of the stick. But it was more like camp where you're just practicing and focused on yourself, and everything's about yourself. We didn't watch film per se with the guys on Bethel or Georgetown or Lindsay, anyone like that. We watched film of our own practices and continue to just try to hone up on our own skills. From a coaching standpoint, certainly we watch some film and things of our opponents coming up, but the focus was more like a camp, and we had to be careful to get in the conditioning, get in the tempo and so forth like a game, but also not to burn the guys out because you didn't have a game on Saturday. And if you just go out there and grind them every day for 2 hours or whatever and beat their heads in, then you're going to start having some issues. And we were smart about that. But, the culture of our program has been so good over the last, 6-7 years that these guys know how to work. And whether we're winning or losing, they know how to come to work, and that helped a great deal.
Coach, one thing I admire about you and the program in general is you don't tend to dwell on things that you can't control. Obviously, the hurricane and the natural disasters and things that were taking place, in Florida and other areas, you couldn't control those, although we lost football games, but you found positives along the way. And this week, with some of that extra time, perhaps you were, in the past few weeks, you've had folks come in to talk to your football team about more than just football, but about life in general.
Yeah, a big focus of ours is be intentional about our training of of devotional work and intentional about our training of character building and those things. And so we've been able to take some time away where we've had Peggy Richardson come in from the counseling services and talk with our guys about counseling services provided on the campus and depression and suicide services available and the confidentiality of those and so forth. And we appreciated that greatly. Also, we had Megan Barnes, I think, and Dr. Justy Engel came in from the Learning Commons and the English department and talked to our guys about tutoring services available. So it just opened up the door for us to be able to get some people on campus in to talk to our guys about some services available. We do a big thing we call Tiger Pride Talks, where we're just instilling the pride of this program, of this university into our guys, and it's player led, and we've had numerous players to get up and share their experiences in life with the team, and also talk about why Campbellsville University is important to them and so forth. So we've been able to do those things and focus on the development of the team and the individuals within the squad and be very intentional about that.
Coach Thomas and the Tigers proving that it is more than a game. They do have a game this weekend, however, that's going to be against Bethel University. Finally, they'll get back on the football field. That comes Saturday, 1:30, the kickoff time. That'll be in McKenzie, Tennessee. The Tiger Tailgate Show begins at 1 p.m. We'll step away, come back, and we'll get the coach's thoughts on that matchup with Bethel here on the Perry Thomas Show.
Campbellsville Baptist Church, a church where all ages grow in the love of God. From children and youth worship to sports ministry and mission outreach, Campbellsville Baptist Church shares the love of God both in and outside of the sanctuary. Join us for worship on Sunday mornings at 9 and small group Bible study at 10:30. That's Campbellsville Baptist Church, the people of God sharing God's love because God's love changes the world.
Citizens Bank and Trust knows just how hectic your day can be. Stay on track during your busiest days with Citizens Bank and Trust. Buying the latest gear to support your favorite team, or grabbing a coffee after studying all night. Citizens Bank allows you to deposit your checks with the snap of a picture at any time, especially after hours. Citizens Bank and Trust, keeping you on schedule. Now introducing Apple, Android, and Google Pay.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Whether you're 2 or 102, the Tigerville Grill has something for you. Take advantage of the Build Your Own Burger menu. In the mood for something small? Choose one of the many delicious slider options. Call ahead and use our fast and easy drive-thru. Oh, that cool freestyle fountain drink machine? We've still got it. The Tigerville Grill, located at 314 North Columbia Avenue and open to the public 11 to 8 daily.
A champion doesn't get days off. It takes determination and drive to realize goals. From long nights to early mornings. From the courts to the classrooms to online. At Campbellsville University, this is why we play. This is how we learn. This is where champions are made. Find your calling for a life change at campbellsville.edu.
Thanks for staying with us, Tiger fans, here on the Perry Thomas Show. Matt Payton with you as we visit with the head coach of the Fighting Tigers about this weekend's matchup with Bethel University. The Tigers take the road to McKenzie, Tennessee, and we do want to mention that is a Central Time kickoff that I had given earlier. It's a 2:30 Eastern kickoff, 2 p.m. will begin the Tiger Tailgate Show, so make sure you tune in on 88.7 The Tiger. And Coach, it's been a while since you've had that opponent to really prep for, and game week is here, and I can only imagine that the guys are excited, coaching staff is excited as you hit the road and you'll be able to kind of knock off some of that rust, so to speak. Yeah, we're ready to play. I mean, it'll be like game one for us, so we know that we'll have game one issues, with alignment sometime and penalties and tempo and possibly conditioning. Even though we're in shape, there's a different conditioning that comes with playing a game, but we're ready to play, and we just have to get out there and knock the rust off, believe in our guts and our fundamentals, those things that we believe in as a program, and go out and try to get a victory. You've had a lot of time to prepare for Bethel. It's a team you're very familiar with. You've played them each of the last several seasons. I'm not sure how far back that goes, but a team you're familiar with, and this is a club, Coach, that 5-6 years ago, I mean, they were making a national title run.
Right.
They've fallen on a little bit of hard times. Still a talented group, 1-3 on the season. They've got some losses to some really good teams. I think Reinhardt and Cumberland. So obviously, your club has to be ready to play. But what do we know about this Bethel team?
Tremendously talented football team, like always, well coached, big up front, big running back, fast guys in the skill positions on both sides of the ball. A team that 2 years ago we handled pretty good. Last year we couldn't stop them. They struggled stopping us also, but we actually charged back at them, had a chance to knock them off, but they beat us in a high-scoring game, and they're capable of doing some good things. You look at the record and you see 1-3. But like you said, they've lost to some good people. The Reinhardt's number 3 in the country. Cumberland's received votes for the top 25 this year. So this week. So they're a tremendously talented football team. That the thing that scares you is they're going into game 5. And we're going into not just game 3, but we're going into game 3 with a 27-day break in between. So they're in mid-season form, and we're not. But we know that if we go out and handle our business, we can make it a competitive game and have a chance to win it.
Sometimes we tend to scout the stat line, so to speak, and if you look at it, Coach, just from an offensive standpoint, they've struggled a bit to move the ball at times. They average just over 250 yards a game. On the other hand, the Tigers well over 400 yards per contest in their 2 games this season. So you can start to scout that stat line, but how do you keep the guys focused on what we know versus what we think we might know?
Well, I think our guys do a pretty good job, and our staff does a good job of focusing on us as much as anyone. And you can't get into stats because stats can be deceiving. Sometimes stats are based off of matchups. Sometimes stats are based off just what teams are trying to do. You come in, you play Reinhardt, and Reinhardt, that game only won about 28 minutes, and Reinhardt had 403 yards against them in 28 minutes. But Reinhardt runs some unique formations, and they're the number 3 ranked team in the country. So you have to be careful of judging that type of stuff. Obviously they're a talented football team. We play good defense. We play good offense, or at least we were. And so I think we match up well. But we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But I think our guys do a great job of focusing on the game at hand and not so much on the stat line.
Full allotment of defensive players available for the Tigers this weekend, I believe, unless there's been anything the last day or so. But you're going to get some guys back. You're going to have DeAndre Hollis there at linebacker. We had been waiting on him and would have been ready to go a few weeks ago. Just didn't have a game to play in. I think Torres Boyd back this week as well. Perhaps Trey Webb also back in the mix. So the time off, while not necessarily a good thing, it did give you a really good chance to get healthy.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys we've lost from injuries, but for the most part, we'll have our full lineup in there. We're still waiting on Boyd a little bit, but Trey Webb is definitely back. DeAndre Hollis is definitely back. And that gives us some much-needed depth on the defensive side. Those linebackers have pretty much been playing in the first 2 games with Manning and Moore played the entire games. So now you have Hollis in there, and you really don't drop off any. Put in Hollis in there, he could start for most programs. So we're excited to get those guys back. We've remained healthy on offense. And we've been sharp in practice. We have, there's been some positives to having the time off because we have been able to focus on us. So now we just got to go out and put it together in the game with that game tempo and game speed against a good, solid football team. And, I think a win would do wonders for us because not only would it get the excitement back up around Tiger football, obviously when you have 3 weeks off, the excitement kind of dips in the community and nationally because you're not in the search for things. People are not seeing your scores every week, and you even look at the ratings. We don't get a sniff. We're 2-0, and that's not enough to get you in there where people are looking at you yet. So you need to get some wins. Your stats go down and different things like that. So we need that, and then it just get us back in playing speed. And with the rescheduling of the Ave Maria game, now we're looking at not having a week off. Right. So I hope they enjoyed that time off because there's no more time off now.
At what point, Coach, as you get ready for this game, will you know that your team's okay after this long layoff? It's a unique situation.
Yeah.
It's not something that is done very often. At what point will you know that we're just fine here?
Yeah, well, I think it'd be after the game. After the game, I think we're fine. I mean, now, saying we're fine doesn't mean that I'm saying we're going to go in and win the game. But I think our guys are ready to play. They're hungry. They work hard. They understand work ethic. They understand how to win. We've gotten used to winning. Last year was a down year, but you can watch those games and see how these guys fought. So I think we're fine. We just got to go play now.
Coach, best of luck to you this weekend. I know you're ready to
Yes,
get
sir.
back out on the field and just play somebody that's not wearing maroon and gray.
Exactly. Let's play ball.
The Tigers and Bethel University will take to the field 2:30 Eastern on Saturday. This Saturday, the Tiger Tailgate Show will begin at 2 p.m. on 88.7 The Tiger. We'll step away and come back, visit with the offensive coordinator for the Tigers, Rick Garris, here on the Perry Thomas Show.
Grandpa, famous for dropping a line. Lee's, famous for chicken. Fall into a deal this autumn at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $5.99. Take flavor and value to a whole new level with a cup of our Spicy Jumbo Dippers, a side, a biscuit, and a regular drink, all for an amazing price. It's a deal that's easy to fall for. Make fall value season at Lee's with our Spicy Jumbo Dippers combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Here at Saloma Baptist Church, our mission and ministry extends beyond our walls. We are focused on teaching all ages about the love of Jesus, preparing them for a life of mission. We are committed to serving the local community and the world in the name of Jesus Christ. For more information on service times and mission opportunities, please visit our website at salomabaptist.com. We extend a warm welcome to you and your family here at Saloma Baptist Church.
My name is James C. Miller III, and I started to work at Taylor County Bank on July 1st, 1960. The bank was started because during the crash, the banks here failed, or at least one of them did. So there was a need for an additional bank in Taylor County. But the thing about our bank is this, that we had an old slogan back then. First in service, first in safety, first in convenience, and that's what we've always tried to do, and I think we still do.
Campbellsville University Cosmetology teaches beauty inside and out. The cosmetology students at CU receive salon experience while learning in a contemporary environment from faculty who have worked in the industry. With areas of study ranging from hairstyling to salon management, Campbellsville University Cosmetology can help you turn your passion into a profession. Kickstart your cosmetology career today. Visit campbellsville.edu/cosmetology.
Welcome back, Tiger fans, to the Perry Thomas Show here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Thanks for following on Comcast Cable as well as 88.7 The Tiger. Now joined by Rick Garris here in the studio. And Coach, your sixth season at the helm of the Tigers, and I opened with Coach Thomas about this. It's a nice vacation you've had this football season to some degree.
And it's it's very unusual. I've never as a coach or as a player dealt with such a long break, and it's unfortunate with the hurricanes down south, and obviously safety is the most important thing. So thank God that was handled properly. But coming off this break, you kind of feel like we're in spring ball almost. We had to kind of makeshift a scrimmage, inter-squad scrimmage, and you just pray that no one's going to get hurt during that stuff, but just something to kind of keep us in game condition. And I think we did a good job with it, but it's definitely, I guess, first time for everything, and this is definitely one of those situations.
Hopefully it's the last time for an extended break. 27 days between games for the Tigers, and Coach, you walked in and you were like, we've had so much time to prep. We've got the game plan ready to go. I'm ready to go. Like, you just want to get back on the field, play anybody.
Yeah, and coaches and players alike, those guys have just been itching. And to their credit, they've done a good job. It's hard to stay focused and motivated at practice, and they've understood the importance of, we've been trying to stress to those guys that, look, we don't have a game. We need to maximize every opportunity in the sun for conditioning, make sure we're laying it all out there, because we have to beat up our bodies. We have to stay in that condition and shape. And they've attacked it the best they could, and it's been interesting, and it's been different, but we've done the best that we can, and hopefully it all pays off come Saturday. I think these guys are ready to get after it, so I'm very anxious to see what kind of team shows up. But I definitely know that they're ready to go out and get back into it. So.
And you had talked a little bit about even yourself from a play calling standpoint. It's just there's a rhythm that goes with play calling, and in practice it's it's trying to make sure that you know, you're relaying things to, you know, personnel, and the right groupings are on the field, and everybody is kind of, you know, going through this practicing training type thing to stay sharp, even though you don't have a game, and even though you're not necessarily putting on a uniform.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because I didn't realize how that was a thing until probably this situation. You know, you go into summer camp and then spring, you don't have games, so you know that you have to get back into it, but be in it and then have a long break and then have to just kind of recharge yourself and get back into the sync of things. I didn't realize it because, you know, the first 2 games I got a feel for my guys, and that was important. You know, my plays are going to be my plays, but to feel my guys and to see kind of what they like and what they're comfortable with, you kind of lose that a little bit, and, you know, they improve, and we're on a, you know, an uphill slope to get to where we need to be, and I just kind of feel like this kind of made us stagnant for a little bit, but you know, we're definitely anxious to get back out there and just get the wheels turning again, I guess you would say.
I love talking about offense. I guess if I had to classify myself, I like a good offense more than a great defense.
Right.
So, you know, walk me through it. What have you guys been working on this last 3 weeks? What's been the attitude there around Hawkins, and, you know, what are some things that you focused on over the break?
Yeah, so the game plan has been in for a while. We knew we had Bethel coming up, so we've had the game plan in for about 2 weeks now, so we feel confident about that. But the thing with the guys was because we're not, you know, hitting each other on Saturday, you know, there's a process with that. Running and sprinting for 4 quarters straight, and then feeling the damage from the game, and then your body having to re-heal off that keeps you strong and sturdy. So, you know, I've had to do a lot of up-downs, a lot of sprints, like right in the middle of practices, kind of just beat their bodies up with some conditioning so that their bodies can kind of go through that a little bit. But no matter what you do, you can't simulate 4 quarters of a football game. So I'm just praying that, you know, it was enough to kind of keep our guys ready for Saturday mentally and physically. I know mentally they're there, but, you know, we just did what we could physically to make sure that they were there.
Before we get into the Bethel and the matchup and the game planning, you got a pretty good guy behind center there in Hunter Brown, and you know, kind of rewrote some of the record books last year after Jake Russell, and 2 phenomenal years there for Jake, and Hunter now has stepped in. And we sat here a year ago, and that was one of the question marks. What did and that was more from outsiders. You knew what you had in Hunter Brown. It was, you know, guys like me that weren't at practice every day, those in the community and followers that didn't know what number 8 could do, and he's not only proved you right, but he's continued to grow and grow.
Yeah, and he will continue to do that. I mean, he's put a lot of effort and a lot of focus into his off-season training. You know, we as coaches, we can't be with the guys, especially if there's football out there, but he's his own coach in a lot of ways. He's out there at 8 a.m. every morning on Saturdays when kids, I mean, this is summer vacation for those guys, and he's making those receivers go out there, those running backs, because he wants someone to throw to. Timing is very important to him. Even at practices, you know, he gets on to me about, hey, I need to throw, we need to do some route timing and stuff like that. He doesn't like any practices where he's not throwing, staying in sync with his timing with his guys. Same thing that we're talking about with the play calling and me and my guys. He feels that way about his guys. So he's grown into a coach on the field, and when you've got a guy like that at the helm in charge of your offense, it takes a lot off my shoulders because I can kind of just rely on him. He thinks like I do, he sees things like I want to see it, and that's refreshing when you're an offensive coordinator because I feel confident no matter what I call that he's going to get it to the right person, he's going to do it on time.
And we'll speak with some of the other coaches. We've already had Coach Matt Atwood in this year, but A.J. Strong and Coach Crosby as well about the offensive line later. But so let's you know, kind of go through the depth chart a little bit with quarterbacks with you, Coach. And you've got Hunter, and we obviously all hope that we don't need a backup.
Right.
But there are guys back there developing, and they may be names that Tiger fans need to know. And Jeremy Hines, a guy that we've seen at some receiver, he's still playing a little bit of quarterback for you. And then Austin Jenkins has been the backup. Zach Kessler, we've seen him a little bit in practice and different things. You know, walk me through the position there.
I was talking to Coach Thomas the other day about our, you know, we've been blessed. We had some great quarterbacks in the past, and I can't name them all, but we have some great talent there. With this group, though, however, we don't feel like there's a big drop-off from 1 to 2. Yes, you can't replicate a Hunter and a Jake always, but Jeremy Hines is a phenomenal athlete. You said you saw him at receiver. It's because he's really good, so it's kind of hard for us. He does a great job at the number 2 role, but he's so athletic that we've got to find a position for him. So Austin Jenkins got hurt in a JV game last week, so we took the receiver stuff away from him because we don't want our number 2 guy to get hurt, but you're going to see him back at the rotation at receiver. Austin Jenkins, Zach Kessler, 2 young guys with big arms, nice frames, and a lot of good depth there. So I feel very excited about the future. Obviously, I would love to have Hunter Brown for 2 more years, but we're going to be okay at that spot. We're very versatile, very talented, and very experienced all the way down to the freshmen. So
let's take a look at this Bethel game, Coach. And you guys, this is a team. We talked with Coach Thomas about it. Very familiar with this Bethel club, and it's a team that's not too far removed from a national title, run, chase, I guess you could say, as they fell short. But what do we know about them defensively, and the Tigers from an offensive standpoint? What are you looking at?
Yeah, they kind of mimic us in a lot of ways, especially with the coaching staff. We respect them a lot. We've got a good relationship with them. They do a great job with their guys on and off the field. They're a 4-2 defense. Last year, they didn't really know what to expect from us because Hunter Brown was a new face as well, so they came out with a 3-man and then a 4-man front. We did some zone, didn't like that, then switched to a man, so we saw a lot of stuff last year. This year, they look a little bit more consistent. I think they're a lot more confident in what they're doing defensively, so a little bit 4-man front. They got some big, strong guys up front, very talented and athletic in the secondary, so they like to play zone with a 2-high set, and they're going to mix it up with some blitzes and some 1-high. So, we just got to make sure we got our eyes up, paying attention to the fronts, calling it out, communicating, and all of our stuff should be fine against no matter what. But we just got to make sure we're focused and ready to go.
And Coach, best of luck to you Saturday. I know you're chomping at the bit.
Oh yeah, excited about it.
Coach Garris and the Tigers, they'll be back on the field Saturday afternoon. It's a 2:30 Eastern Time kickoff with Bethel University at McKenzie, Tennessee. You can catch the Tiger Tailgate Show on 88.7 The Tiger beginning at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thanks to Coach Garris for joining us, as well as the head coach, Perry Thomas. We'll see you next week on the Perry Thomas Show.